When tragedy strikes, we need answers. We want some fucking answers because our world right now is just not making any sense. None of it does. It's all bullshit. Bad things shouldn't be happening to good people. It's just not fair. And if you're going through a divorce, you have so many questions to just about everyone, including the universe, because right now you're questioning your identity and you're wondering what the fuck you're doing here. In other words, you're having an existential crisis. So, what exactly is going on, and will you ever find yourself again? Let's find out, and let's start revving that engine. Everyone, my name is Rene Garcia, and I'm a divorce coach for men. If this is your first time watching and you just stumbled into me, you're in for a surprise because I help divorced men recover their life and their balls after divorce. So if you like what you hear at the end of this video, get in touch with me and schedule a one-on-one by clicking in the link in the comment section underneath. It's free, it's confidential, and no lie, it's fucking awesome. So call me. You know, on YouTube, I don't have the luxury of asking you to stick around because just asking you runs the risk of losing you, but I'm going to very humbly ask you to remain patient for the next minute. I'm going to begin with one of the most beautiful yet tragic stories of resilience that I've ever witnessed. See, I'm medically trained, and back in 1998, I was a third-year medical student doing my pediatric rotation. There was this 21-year-old kid with muscular dystrophy that had an appointment. He was refined to a wheelchair because he couldn't really move. And this kid, he was so weak that he had a respirator and his facial muscles were distorted. So he slurred when speaking. In comes his cardiologist and his primary care physician. They were there to tell him the result from his heart exam, that it was shit. He had severe ventricular heart failure and they didn't even know how he was still alive. His heart, it was extremely weak. He was going to die real soon. You talk about living with a purpose. This kid, this little poor kid, 5 years my junior, he had just been accepted to UCI as a political science major. He couldn't even type, he was so weak, so his papers were dictated through Morse code. Knowing his options were limited, he could have done anything. He could have traveled and lived the rest of his life doing whatever he wanted. What he did next, though, was an exercise of human triumph. It was valiant because he looked at his parents and then at me. It was a very disappointed voice. He said, I guess I'm going to have to graduate earlier than I thought. The year was 1998, and in 2001, he graduated. 3 months later, he died at Children's Hospital in Los Angeles. This kid was Oscar. He was my brother, and although he was physically weak, he was, in my book, as strong as Superman. But what drove him to live was his purpose, his identity, the strength of his direction. And that fed all the way to his death. Oscar taught me the essence of being alive. And to this day, something I can't appreciate enough. If you're going through a divorce, you've lost your direction. And direction is so important that it keeps people alive. Right now, you're probably wondering why your ex is handling this breakup much better than you are. I mean, here you are bawling your balls out, and in the meantime, she's acting as though nothing happened. That's because men take divorce as much more of a personal loss, and many of us just don't recover. The suicide rate for divorced men is 2.5 times higher than that of married men. In other words, if you're going through a divorce, you're a risk factor. 95% of men will undergo some kind of existential crisis. First, we don't understand our world. Second, our role as leader of the family, it's done. Third, many of us struggle for custody. Fourth, our friends, they congratulate us and we should be celebrating. And on top of it, let's face it, all the whispering about infidelity or possible violence, it gets to you. So we look for growth, and many of us, we run into the whole red pill movement as we blame others for our poor decision making. But that shit gets old, and when things go bad, you have a choice either to listen to crap that validate your anger, or you can listen to crap like my videos and make your life better. Point is that the reason why you're where you're at is because that part of your life is over. You have to start all over. So this is where the lesson begins, because let's face it, I'd like to say that we've had pretty good control of our life, but as we age and accumulate our regrets, we realize that we've been bamboozled and that all this time we've been living substandard to our very own rules. We were all brought up to be a good guy, to go to college, to meet a nice girl, get married, have kids, and that's how we find happiness. But the truth is that maybe we majored incorrectly, or we work without any form of passion as we go through the routine of the day. That maybe we married Katie because she was hitting 39 and she pressured you because it was her time to have babies. And even then, we don't parent the way that we really truly want to parent. And now you're being told by Katie that, well, that she wants out of something that she insisted that you commit to. We have one life and we've let others live it for us. And that's a tragedy, because now You're middle aged, you've passed your better years, and you've realized that time, your most valuable commodity, is both speeding up and running short. So you scramble to make sense of it, and you swear that you're going to begin living by your rules until, well, you meet another girl and you repeat the same mistakes and learn nothing. Not a goddamn thing from your prior marriage. Good wedding singer. According to philosopher Carl Jung, the way to find your purpose is by experiencing something that's bigger than ourselves, a cause that we die for. But the challenge is that, well, we have to find that thing, something that we're passionate about, and we have to do our research. And that's something that we've all struggled with, but we have to challenge ourselves. And I think that's the problem that we face when somebody says that bullshit quote of, dude, just focus on yourself. Right now, you don't have that direction or purpose, and you got to do some searching here. Now you're in your later years, and you're realizing that you didn't have to follow all those rules, and you wish to God that you hadn't, because she stole years off your life. Fuck the fact that she's an infidel. She's worse than that. She's a thief. What you didn't know then, but you certainly know now, is that you have choices, and an existentialist would say that you have too many choices. A terrifying amount of choices to choose from. They're scary because being single is a much bigger responsibility than being married. Being married was safe, you stayed within your boundaries, but being single, you can sleep in, you can take off work, you can drink all you want, you can let yourself go, you can have intercourse with a girl without using a condom. You can choose that or choose the right things that you've been wanting to do, but we're limited because your ex, she had an uncanny way of ridiculing your growth. What, are you trying to look good for the girls? You know what that is when they say that? Ninja mind control. Think of a time when you were at your best, when you were unstoppable. A time when you really loved yourself, when you were grateful to be you. What's wrong with that? For some reason, we have it ingrained into our society that we can't be that guy, that we have to limit ourselves to some kind of semi-love rather than fully loving ourselves. And you know what makes life so precious? That there's no do-overs. You'll never be in the exact same time and place you're sitting at now. Good, bad, it's all temporary. Why waste any more of it? In life, you have so many options, many like your divorce. They're just way too dangerous to be just winging, and you run the danger of making some careless mistakes, or worse, you run the danger of repeating the same mistakes, because there's a reason why second marriages fail more than the first one. And believe me, I was too arrogant and too inexperienced not to even consider the remote chance that I'd be divorced twice. Be prepared and make a one-on-one. Get the ball rolling and know that you're covering a chapter of your life that's more beautiful than expected. The link to find me is in the comment section underneath. And hey, if you like what you heard, why don't you subscribe to our channel and put a 6 behind this number. Thank you very much.